Well, welcome to the ESPN FC Live, not the Tartan Army Live. Nothing to do with the T-shirt, nothing to do with the kilt or anything like that. Mark Donaldson,
Keep it low,
Etchegaray, Sam Marsden, Julien Laurent. We shall be. It's not even in the rundown to preview Scotland-Hungary. What's that all about? Sod the rundown. We will be previewing that, but we're here to speak about Portugal against Turkey, which has just finished. Now, we're all in hotel rooms all across the globe, and I don't know what the delay's like. First person to put their hands up gets his talk first about Portugal's 3-0 win. Go. Jules was first. Sam didn't even bother. He's backside. What did you see, Jules? How impressive were Portugal or how poor were Turkey? What do you make?
I just thought that now that Roberto Martinez doesn't do any nonsense with his tactics, inventing positions for some players, making things far more difficult than he needs to. Hey, look at them. They're suddenly good, much better than what we saw in the first game, where they got really lucky and they got away with one, let's be honest here. Today was very different against a better team. And yes, they got a bit lucky on the second goal, especially, even the first one with the deflection on the cross to a certain extent. But it was a much more convincing performance. And certainly the balance of this team, the structure, basically all the things that we didn't see in the first game was there today. So far more encouraging. And again, Roberto, we told you before, just keep things simple. Your team is that good that you don't need to complicate things.
Sam, I think I saw something which I haven't seen very often. Cristiano Ronaldo passing the ball when he had a chance to score, and it meant a tap in for Bruno Fernandes. What did that make you think of? Portugal, a team now?
Well, like Jules says, yeah, they were much more balanced today. I think taking Dalot out the side and putting in an extra midfield, obviously Palhinha alongside Vitinha in the first half, and then Ruben Neves in the second half made a huge difference. So yeah, that's obviously the first thing. And then yeah, the goal, of course, Ronaldo passing. Maybe I kind of thought the same thing. Maybe I'm being disingenuous towards Ronaldo here, but at first I thought he was maybe offside, so I'll do a little pass anyway, and then it won't count. And then also I've just seen afterwards that he now has the record for goals, 14, but he now also has the record for assists, 8. Maybe that was in the back of his mind as well, to have the assist record as well as the goal record. Or maybe he was just being a good teammate, and this is a Portugal team that's going to click into gear as the tournament goes on. Who knows?
Now, the reason I said it like that was because maybe 5 minutes before, there was a role reversal. Bruno had the ball, didn't pass it to Cristiano when maybe he was in a better position. And of course, Cristiano took the huff because he didn't get a pass, which led to the own goal. And then he turned around and said, oh yeah, it's a goal, fantastic. Turkey weren't great, but I love the tempo of this game, LME, and I thought Portugal were really good today.
Yeah, Portugal were really good. I echo what the boys are talking about. It's a little bit of a misleading game to me, because the moment the second goal came in, that horrific own goal, I felt that Turkey's sort of not momentum, but their confidence in getting anything out of this game just fell flat. And Portugal just, decided to just keep it simple. Like Jules said, Roberto Martinez knows not to overcomplicate things. Portugal have a really nice balance too, right? On the left-hand side, Nuno Mendes and Rafa Leao, but now you have the experience of 41-year-old Pepe at the back, with Ronaldo up top too, but also Vitinha, who's just wonderful to watch as well. And they just keep the ball, and they make it difficult for everybody else. And then the third goal, was also a mistake, right? So you could just tell that psychologically, Turkey were just like, they fell flat. So to me, I think that it was a good performance. There's a reason why Portugal remain high in the power rankings, but I want to see now what Portugal do against really good teams, and that's where might just see the real Roberto Martinez. Will you stand up? We'll have to find out and see.
If we'd had a 35-second answer from you then, I was told not to go to Jules because he had someone at his hotel room door. I would have gone to him anyway. Who was at the door?
It was, the room service in the evening. They bring you water. I mean, in a posh hotel. I'm not sure about you in Stuttgart or Sam, wherever he is. But for me, yeah, so that was it. I just didn't time this well.
But where's your little do not disturb sign?
I know, but
right?
I'd forgotten completely.
It
was great. It was long, but I'm sure it was great because I didn't.
Was that a turn down service, Jules? Because you're used to that, staying at these fancy 5-star Ritz hotels. There's no denial, Sam, is there? There's no denial.
You know. If you know, you know.
You do. You do. We're meant to be talking Portugal against Turkey. I've managed to get several Scotland references in so far, of course. But the Portuguese fans and the Turkish fans, Sam, what an atmosphere they created. And just listening to some of the TV beforehand and the radio, seemed to be a lot more Turks there, but they didn't have too much to shout about Turkey. How disappointed were you today with them?
Yeah, obviously Turkey have got a massive support here in Germany. We saw it in the first game against Georgia, and then again today. I think they outnumbered, from what I saw on television, what's seen on social media. It seems that they once again outnumbered the Portuguese fans. Obviously not the same result today, but they got that win first time, so they're still in a good position. Really, it sets up a fascinating game against Czechia. I think from the start it was a little bit disappointing. I know Arda Güler is obviously still very young, and it's not really his Turkey team yet. But I think we were obviously so enamoured with his first goal and his end of the season at Real Madrid. It would have been nice to see him fit enough to start, but he did come on, so perhaps that's a good sign for their final game, when obviously they need to get sort of at least a point against Czechia to reach the knockout rounds. A little bit disappointing today, but like the things that LME said, the game sort of slipped away from them with cheap goals. Really, it wasn't Portugal didn't have to work too hard for the goals. Obviously they didn't clear the cross, and it landed for Bernardo Silva the first one, the own goal, and then from there it's very, very hard for them to do anything. So yeah, I mean, Portugal game was always going to be difficult for them. If Güler's fit, they've got a lot to play for in that final game, haven't they, against Czechia? A draw would probably will be enough for them to go through.
It's weird right now, LME, because there are several nations that might get through on 2 points, but some that still aren't guaranteed to get through on 3 points. And this is a group, I suppose it was helped earlier in the day with the opening game draw, but Portugal are sitting pretty. Turkey aren't in a bad position either, though, are they? They've now played Portugal. They got their opening day win against Georgia. Do you expect these two to be the top two to go through in this group?
I don't know. It's hard because the emotional side of me really is pushing for Georgia here. They have given us 2 great performances. I know we're going to talk about them in a little bit, but like you said, this is a tricky group. But yes, Portugal obviously I think will come away with it, and I think Turkey will probably look back at this and think, we shot ourselves in the foot twice here against a very good team. If we can nullify silly errors, silly mistakes, then we should be able to take care of Czechia and really get that second spot. But the thing about Portugal is that they're so deep, right? I mean, when you can put on Nelson Semedo, João Neves, Pedro Neto, Antonio Silva, I mean, you really should be winning this group. So once again, to me, it's about what you do when you come out of this. But yeah, I think Turkey should have enough. They should be able to rectify the mistakes that they did today and go through. But emotionally, I'm rooting for Georgia. I mean, their fans have been amazing, and they have really given us a lot to watch as well.
So this was a better performance by Portugal than in their opening win over the Czechs. So from what you've seen so far, forget the type of players that they have, just purely based on how good a performance has been. Where would you put Portugal? Are they up there because of today on the balance of evidence over the 2 games, or do they still have a point to prove because of the manager that they have?
Yeah, I think you're right with the end of that question. For me, still Roberto Martinez. I'm not sure really if he can take how far he can take this team, because he's capable, as we saw in the first game, to just mess things up for no reason. So I'm not sure, and I agree with LME in the sense that there would be games far tougher than even today, where Turkey, as we say, gifted them some goals, was without one of their best players in Arda Güler. So there's a lot of also reason why they played well, but also why they won so comfortably. It would be different from the last 16 onwards. I think they are still below Germany and Spain from what we saw. France is a little bit different because of the way they've played so far. They're very happy with the performances. We can look at it with the glass half empty and saying, well, they should have done better, but they are where they wanted to be anyway. So I think they're up there as well with Spain and Germany, and maybe Portugal just a little bit below. But that's the 4 that we had at the start of the tournament anyway for most of us. So again, there's no surprise there.
Sam, who's more confident? Fans of England, fans of Germany, fans of France, or fans of Portugal right now, as well as fans of Spain? Who's the kind of cock of the north right now based on what we've seen so far?
Well, definitely not England, I don't think. Spain's an interesting one because there's sort of the growing sort of confidence. I mean, Luis de la Fuente, obviously he's the coach. He says that there's no one better than us when we play our football and we're at our strongest, and they were obviously very good against Italy, but there's still the feeling that you wouldn't put all your money on Spain for as good as they've been, and they probably have, for me, being the best team in the tournament over the 2 games so far. The performance against Italy was certainly the best performance I've seen in the tournament so far. Germany have that home factor, so I think they're confident as well, and France probably as well, and then probably Portugal fourth. I mean, it's what Jules said. I think England are the ones who've been majorly dropped off so far in the tournament. Spain are probably the ones who have grown the most, perhaps followed by Germany. And France are an interesting one because if we're looking at performances and results, perhaps maybe Portugal are a little bit ahead of France. They obviously came back in the first game and showed steel despite not playing well, and then had a big win today. But I just think France have a little bit in their favour in terms of recent tournaments, and and the Deschamps and stuff. They've got pedigree in these finals, and they've not always sort of glittered from the start in every game, and they've managed to sort of come through. So I think that sort of counts in their favour a little bit.
Final word on this group, LME. You want to talk Turkey, or Turkiye, as they now want to be called, because they don't want to be compared to a bird, according to the UN discussion that they had in 2022. But we'll not go there. We'll leave that for Derek Ray to answer all the angry responses that he got to his tweet earlier. It's interesting now, because if they win their final game, the Czechs, against the Turks, the Czechs would go through as second place. Now, Turkey might go through in third with 3 points, or might not go through with 3 points. So, advantage who? Are we going to see Turkey that we saw against Georgia, one of the games of the tournament? Or are we going to see that performance and they laid an egg against when they play the Czechs in the next game?
I think advantage, just for the pure basis of who they're playing against, I think it's advantage Turkey, because from what I said earlier, today was not a good performance, but they were horrible mistakes that really should not happen again. Like that own goal should just not happen again. If it does, you don't deserve to be anywhere near the knockout stages. And the second goal, the Ronaldo assist to Bruno Fernandes, that was also a double mistake as well. Playing Ronaldo on side and then slipping twice from two defenders, allowing Ronaldo and Fernandes to score. That also was a mistake. So the hope for Turkish fans is that that's not going to happen, in the last game. Now, Czechia, they made about 12 attempts without scoring. I think that's the first time in almost like 3 decades where a team has made that many attempts. I mean, obviously, it took a fantastic performance from the Georgia goalkeeper to deny that. But I think that Czechia will be tough, will be resilient, and they will try and continue going on their game plan. I have to believe from a Turkish perspective that they can do much better than what they did today. So I think that advantage is Turkey.
By the way, when you look at the goal scoring charts, I mean, whoever's backed own goals to be the top scorer this tournament, you could just go at the bookies now and just cash in. So normally when
Todd Bowley's gonna offer about 500 million for Mr. Own Goal.
By the way, normally when we do ESPN FC Live, just during the week or whatever, we don't have a break, but because we put Jewel up in such a wonderful hotel with turn-down service, and look at this, like crystals and all sorts of nonsense, we've got to take a 60-second ad break or whatever, because we need the money to pay for Jules' expenses when he does it. So we'll be back after these, boys and girls. Okay, the gang's all back. It's me, top left, Mark Donaldson, LME, Luis Miguel Echegaray, top right. Also, Julien Laurent, bottom left. And also Sam Marsden, bottom right. I've been told, a little birdie has told me, well, he's right up above your head, Sam. He says, don't let Sam get away with this. Your hotel room looks rather large as well, and you might need like a GPS or a sat-nav to navigate your way around this hotel room.
Do you want to know what? It's a UEFA team hotel. So Ukraine were here yesterday. And Spain are coming tomorrow.
This.
See, I told you.
LME, I'm going to top this, right? Because I think, and I might be wrong, but I think that the town I am staying in right now has the best name of any town that any of you three are staying in right now. I'm staying in Weinstadt, basically wine town.
You are very happy, Mark Donaldson.
I won. I do. And that's where I am right now. After yesterday's escapades with the German dentists in Esslingen. It's fun and games to be on the road with the Tartan Army. I just hope we can continue, despite the fact I'm flying back. Right, let's have a look at the other game in the group earlier before we have a look at Sunday's matches and preview them. Elemi, let's start with you for this one. Mamardashvili was brilliant in this game, but it's one that got away for Czechia, isn't it? Simply because it could be a costly draw when it comes to everything being tallied up after 3 games.
Well, and I'll tell you something, they should feel very lucky they didn't lose this game, because that moment, that really should have gone in. I mean, it was really a fortuitous moment for Czechia to get away with that. But you're right. I mean, on the basis of things, they're going to look at this and think, my God, we really should have tried and do much better. As I mentioned in the stat previously, I believe it's almost a record in almost 3 decades that a team has given 12 attempts on target and didn't come away victorious. Their goalkeeper, Georgian goalkeeper, as you mentioned, was fantastic. And I'm loving Georgia. I mean, you know, win, lose, or draw, they're really giving everything that the Euros are meant to be about. You know, whether you're a favorite or an underdog, you're just going for it. Your support is so great. I mean, behind the goal, you see all those fans pretty much just like Albania were doing as well a few days ago. And it was a really good, exciting match where at the end, Georgia were just relying on the counterattack. And like I said, they really are going to rue the fact that they didn't finish it away. But it was a great performance. And it's everything that you want out of not just the Euros, but this group. Because obviously you enter this and you think Portugal are going to come away with it. Obviously, Czechia and Turkey have some good past successes. But Georgia, well played. And it's just a shame you didn't get 3 points for your sake.
Sam, do you like the fact that there's a team playing in this competition that finished below a team that didn't qualify in Norway, who finished below Scotland, who finished below Spain?
I love that fact. Yeah, I really like that.
So do I. No, but the reason I ask is because I do see similarities with the fan base. I mean, the 3 of us in Germany, LME, you're watching on TV back in the United States. You see the pictures of all the supporters, and from a Scottish perspective, we haven't been overseas at a major tournament since Burley decided to dye his hair, take his teeth out, and get sent off in 1998 in France. So it means more. And there's loads it's like the Georgians. We've seen loads of Georgian fans, and it's mums and dads with boys and girls. They're bringing their kids here because they don't know if they're going to be back here. They hope so, and they've got Kvarashgelia. And likewise, from a Scottish perspective, don't take anything for granted. So from Georgia's perspective, to be here, they've been an asset, haven't they, Sam? Because they've not just come here and lost games.
Yeah, those stories are what make the group stage. I mean, this was Georgia's first ever point at a European Championship today, and something that's celebrated, regardless of obviously having that chance to win it at the end would have been probably pandemonium. But yeah, the supporters of, you know, some of the nations that aren't, you know, perhaps haven't been at major tournaments before or not for a long time, absolutely create the atmosphere here in Germany. Like you say, everywhere you go, there are, to hark back to Scotland fans, but it really is true. There are Scotland fans in every sort of pocket of Germany. Sometimes I wonder, I can't work out why they're in these different little pockets that are there.
They're drunk and they're lost.
Yeah, Albanian fans, Georgian fans as well. Yeah, they're stories. Like you say, the Albania draw against Croatia the other day, and then Georgia today. I mean, getting the point is good because it keeps them alive. I wouldn't say LME was optimistic, but it's going to be difficult for them from here, obviously, against Portugal. I guess the one thing is Portugal have now wrapped up qualification, so perhaps there'll be some changes. Although I reckon they're probably still going to play with Ronaldo because he didn't come off today once they were 3-0 up. So he's probably going to play against Georgia in search of some goals. So yeah, it's going to be against them in that final game in Gelsenkirchen. But yeah, they're still alive going into the final game, which is huge. And yeah, then I guess it will depend on obviously the other game as well, whether they can finish second or third and scrape through. But yeah, I mean, also a little bit of realism of the game today. I mean, they were sort of, Czechia were absolutely creative. Like, as LME says, the performance from Mamardashvili, who will probably be sold this summer if anyone can afford to pay for him. Valencia signed basement goalkeeper, was incredible. 11 saves, some of them really, really good. So yeah, absolute dropped points from Czechia's point of view and puts them on the back foot going into that Turkey game.
To Sunday, you have to be careful with your answer to this, Joe. Who is going through with Germany from Group A?
I really think that your boys are going to do it. I have to say, because if you think about it, okay, forget about the first game. Forget about the first game. It happens. It can happen. The sending off, all of that. I think there were probably a bit of nerves too when it's the home. Okay, forget about it.
We're going to lose the first game anyway, right? We didn't play. We were too passive. It was about games 2 and 3.
Exactly. So basically, you are where you kind of want it to be in a way. You're there. If you win, you go through for the first time ever, because I don't want to bring you bad memories, of course. But Scotland, in their history, not just recently, in their whole history, I've never managed, even when with your greatest team of Kenny Dalglish and all those players.
Craig Burley.
Craig, maybe not so much. But yeah, all those guys, you've never gone past the group stage. So I really hope
0-9.
Tomorrow history will be made. I really believe that.
Right, it's time for the pessimistic Scot. Okay, I don't want to be pessimistic. I've been here nearly 2 weeks, and I've enjoyed every second minute of it. But certain things happen, right? And you think whether it's an omen or you think back to something. So I walked into the Cologne Stadium the other day, and I thought, this is Villa Park, 1996, Scotland, Switzerland. There's so many similarities. There's more and more people bringing up Hadji and Morocco in 1998, and Scotland needing a win to go through, having drawn against Norway and narrowly losing to Brazil, and we screwed it up. Tell me it's going to be different, Sam, this time. Give me some hope and piggyback on the back of what Jules has said and feed me with confidence, dear boy.
You know, I think Scotland will win. I do think Scotland will win. I saw a lot of pre-tournament predictions that had Scotland coming second, and I thought that was quite ambitious. I thought, Switzerland are very sort of tournament hardy team, aren't they? They always get through the group stages. I thought them and Germany would probably be the top two, and I have to admit I hadn't seen a lot of Hungary. I'd read a bit about them before the tournament. Obviously, I was aware of them from beating England in the Nations League, and obviously they were very sort of impressive at the last Euros, and I thought it's going to be really difficult for Scotland to get out of the group. I haven't seen the 2 games so far. I think Scotland can beat Hungary. I think, obviously they had a little bit of I don't know if it's a wake-up call, because like you said, they were always expected to lose that first game against Germany. Perhaps the manner of the defeat was more disappointing than the actual defeat itself. But they responded really well against Switzerland. And from what I saw against Hungary in those 2 games against Switzerland and Germany, I don't see any reason why Scotland can't win that game tomorrow. I mean, I know you keep going on about this 2 points thing, but I don't think that's possible, is it? I think they have to win.
Oh, no, it is.
Through. I think a draw wouldn't be enough. I think they have to win.
Okay, are you ready for this? Here is what has to happen for the 4 teams to get for 2 points to get through for Scotland. Spain beat Albania, Italy beat Croatia, Portugal beat Georgia, and Turkey beat the Czechs. If that happens, Scotland would get through with 2 points.
I mean, Mark, how would you feel if you go through with 2 points?
How would I feel? I wouldn't give a damn. Seriously, it would be so Scottish.
I know, but there's also an argument like 2 points. I know you can qualify, just forfeit and go home, because I'm not really sure you deserve to be there in the last 16 with 2 points in 3 games.
Jill, I don't care. It would be the most Scottish thing ever to do something that's never been done before. Right now, we'll probably find a way to not go through with 4 points if we win the game. But those 4 games, that's possible for any team to go through with 2 points, because that would mean that 2 of the groups would have the 3rd place team on just 1 point. So it's weird. The big problem I've got, LME, here is if we win, we're pretty much through. But if we draw, that'll be the longest wait in the world until all the other groups are done.
Yeah, but you know what, though? All the stars are aligning for it to happen because of all those matchups that need to happen. It is possible. Listen, here's the good news. When you face Hungary, you have now seen 2 blueprints of what you should do and shouldn't do. Against Germany, even though Germany are stronger than Hungary, you do not do what you did there. And yes, obviously, it was an abomination of a performance, but it was also mainly because Steve Clark got it wrong in so many ways tactically. He then corrected himself in the second matchup. A really, really good, gutsy performance, smarter in the midfield, and it was a much more creative going into the final third. So now, when you face Hungary, who are organized, talented, Dominik Szoboszlai, of course, being the key man, but they've got some other players as well. Now you have to really understand, all right, how do we plan this? Because Hungary will most likely contain the ball and have more of the possession. That doesn't mean that you should sit, but at the same time, it shouldn't mean that you should be with this high press, feeling yourself really exploited at the back. Now you have learned that. You have learned both of those things. So I think everything is on the cards for you to go through. I'm with Jules. I think you're going to make it happen. 2 points. It doesn't matter. Scotland's going to win this. Super John McGinn with the winner. Let's go, Scotland.
So here's an interesting one, right? We've just spoken about the possibility, whether I don't know what the odds are because it depends on the results of going through with 2 points. There's 5 minutes left, Joe, and it's 1-1 hypothetically, or 0-0 or 2-2. What does Scotland do? They've got to push forward for another goal, for a winning goal, haven't they? But if they do, and they'll leave gaps at the back. So, because at the end of the Switzerland game, by the way, Manuel Akanji had no interest in pushing Switzerland forward. And Scotland were told, because Steve Clarke said to Andy Robertson, who was about to take a quick throw, no, just calm down, caw-canny, as we would say in Scotland. So both sides were settling for a point. So what should any team in that situation do with 5 minutes to go if it's tied? What would you suggest?
I think they have to go for it, because
Agreed.
you would be gutted if you have a draw, you 2 points, and then maybe 3 out of those 4 games that you read out earlier go your way, but not the last one or something like that. At least you go for it. If you score and you win late, it will be chaos in that stadium, amazing, and then you almost guaranteed to be through, let's be honest, with 4 points. And then if you can't get that second goal, that winning goal, let's say, then you'll have, at least you'll have tried. You'll have no regrets, and then you'll have to wait and see if it's 2 points. You go through, but you have to go for it. And obviously the Kieran Tierney injury is massive, and it's a real shame for the boy himself to start with, and for the team, because he's probably has been your best player in this tournament. But you know what? They're going to do it for Tierney. They're going to do it for the Donaldson family. They're going to do it for all those kids that we keep seeing with bare bums and God knows what else underneath in this country so far. And for the monster of the Loch Ness as well.
Most of the Loch Ness as well. By the way, Sam, Gilles quite rightly mentioned Kieran Tierney, and he just, if the kid didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all, because at Real Sociedad he went over and he got injured early doors, came back, and now he's hurt again. So we're going to have to replace him. That's going to be McKenna more than likely. It's probably going to be another 3 at the back. I don't think Steve Clarke, he's a bit like Southgate, a bit pragmatic. You don't win a game in the first 5-10 minutes, but you could certainly cause yourself trouble. Right wing back is our issue right now, because Anthony Ralston's the 3rd, 4th choice, but he is in because Aaron Hickey and Nathan Patterson are out. So he's done his best. He made that mistake that allowed Xherdan Shaqiri in with the goal. James Forrest would be the option. I don't think he'd play McCrory over Ralston. But if you've got a must-win game, could you pretty much pick the same rest of the team in that kind of 3-5-1-1? He could go 2 up top, sorry. Would you think he would consider playing James Forrest, who'll give us pace, but not as quite a good defensive acumen? Or do you think he'll just stick with Tony Ralston and basically make the one change with McKenna coming in for Tierney?
Probably just the one change, to be honest. You don't go chasing the game from the first minute. You pick the team that you picked to win. Obviously against Switzerland, you stick with that. Obviously, then you have the option to bring Forrest on and to go more attacking in the second half as you are chasing the game. And what Jules says, I think, you need to win the game if there are 5-10 minutes left in your level. As anyone who's ever done an accumulator and 4 or 5 team accumulator and it's gone, look how good this is, I'm guaranteed to win this accumulator. You know that one of them's going to let you down, and whether it's Spain or Portugal resting players, or those Czech Republic, Turkey, and Croatia, Italy games are too dangerous to rely on. The game.
What about Germany, LME? We'll wrap this up. Been good so far. Could have scored more, but 1 or 2, not against Scotland, because we didn't get over the halfway line for most of the game, but the Hungarians had a couple of chances. Do you think the Swiss will, because they know, by the way, if Switzerland win, they top the group. So it's a meaningful game for both sides. What do you reckon to that game on Sunday?
Yeah, this is a tricky fixture because of what you just said. Like, this is a group to be won, and Germany. Listen, it's as we're talking, it's very difficult to assess how a team's going to develop in group stages and what they're going to look in the knockout stages. And when you talk about the favorites, Germany clearly being one of them, it's tough because now you're facing a team that is much more organized, obviously, than the last 2 teams that you just played, with all due respect. They have experience. They have Shaqiri, who basically was born to score international goals. It's not just him, obviously. But this is now, as you mentioned, a matchup where, the top of the table, the top of the group is up for grabs. And that is massive when it comes to what you want to do in the round of 16. Having said all that, Germany should have enough to do what they want to do. Not only are they looking good and better under Nagelsmann, but they have game changers. They have game difference makers like Musiala, for example, who really can turn it on. And I think with the support, the home support, it should be enough. But this, make no mistake about it, will be the toughest game for Germany in this group. But I do see them winning, but just about.
Gilles, I noticed a post online about an hour ago saying Group A has a 60% chance of providing 3 teams. There's a couple of groups that have a higher percentage, but most of them have a lower percentage. So you expecting Germany, Switzerland, and Scotland to be a 3-team going through from Group A, this being one of the groups with 3 going through?
Yeah, I think so. I would agree with that. I'm going to that Switzerland-Germany game, and I'm really excited because I want to see everything that Amy just described. But for both sides, really, I want to see how the Swiss respond after the draw against Scotland, where they didn't really play well enough, and they were clearly bothered by the intensity and the physicality that the Scots put. And then for Germany, as you said, we saw against Hungary that it was not always smooth and not always great. And Wirtz was quiet, and Havertz was clearly sulking when he saw his number up after just 57 minutes. So I don't think everything is perfect either within the German camp. And if they were not to win tomorrow, for example, or finish second in their group, which, by the way, would mean that instead of being on one side of the draw, they would be on the other one with France and England, for example. It could be a very different story. So Nagelsmann would have really hoped that this third game would be for nothing and that he could rest almost all the starting 11. He won't be able to do that. Oh, well, he can if he wants to, but it would be tricky. So it'd be quite interesting. But yeah, I think those 3 would qualify, just not sure in what order.
Okay, Sam, you have a choice to end with. You can either A, say anything you want about your Euro 2024 experience so far, okay? Anything you want. You can take us home with anything you want to do, or you can sing along to Flower of Scotland in the background.
I'm just looking at this situation again.
Please choose A.
Don't be sensible.
Could there be a situation where Scotland draw?
Man,
I want you.
ruined it. Absolutely, I don't care. Scotland can draw. Just sing.
Sam, say something. Anything.
No, seriously, say what you like now. Could there be a situation? Whatever. Could there be a situation? Yeah.
Where Scotland draw and they need England to beat Slovenia 5-0.
Imagine.
Jesus. Well, you know what would happen, right? Let's go back to 1996. And then Scotland have done their job against Switzerland. And then England are 4-0 up. And then Kluivert scores and knocks us out. So, yeah, Slovenia would score a last-second goal and knock us out. I don't know. But you ruined my ending.
Half this show was like sponsored by Scotland. I think you're fine.
This show was going so well until now.
Oh, Sam, man.
We've all predicted you beat Hungary.
Yeah, we've all been on your side.
I hate confidence. Right, I'm off out with my kilt and my Scotland shirt, and I'm going to have fun again in Germany, like we all have. Really enjoying all your coverage this tournament. Thank you, Jules. Enjoy the game. Germany against Switzerland. Sam, what's your next game?
Spain, Albania.
Oh, nice. Good one as well. LME, thank you for your company as well. We will do it all again tomorrow. ESPN FC live with the Tartan Army in Germany. Come on, Scotland!
Make sure you stay seated.